Right, okay. So, I want to say good evening because it's so dark outside, but it's not. So, good afternoon. It's Heidi here from Riverside Beads. I'm not at HQ, I'm at home. And today we're going to be doing carrier beads. Now, carrier beads are absolutely amazing. They are what they say on the tin. They carry a loop of beads on them. So we make the beads loop separately and put it on top of the carrier bead. However, there are different sorts of carrier beads. So I have got here, sorry, Jax, I just poked you in the eye, sorry. This is a carrier bead. Okay, and these two lines that you can see here are actually the holes that go through it. Okay, so where those lines are the holes that go through. Okay, now they come in different sorts, so you can get these acrylic ones, and we do them in clear. Let me pick these up. So we've got, these are the acrylic, so purple, pink, brown, smoky grey and black, and you can get 50 of them for £3, so that's very good. Then you go on to speciality bead quality, and you can get ceramic ones. So these ones are ceramic white, so these are a little bit heavier, and these are ceramic black. And you can also get, I mean, they're just plain ceramic ones, but you can also get patterned ones, so they look like agates and things like that. And basically those ones that are ceramic are for doing less of a pattern on. So on ours, you would cover the whole carrier bead. So I've got the carrier bead on the inside there, and that's the pattern that I put over it. And if I push hard enough, the little loop comes off that I created. And when you want to secure them properly, you just use a bit of glue. But so that's what we would do, especially on the acrylic ones, because you don't want to see what's on the inside. And obviously through there, I don't know whether you can see it. If I put it in front of my face, you can. Oh, it looks like my nose. It's got two little holes there to thread through. And you can put two together. So this one is two. Oh, carrier beads are half price at the moment, so get in there, girls and gentlemen. This is two carrier beads put together, so like so, and you just do a wider one. Okay, so there are some out there that are acrylic, and there are some that are ceramic. Some of the ceramic ones are so that you can put less of a piece over the top of them and you bead less, and you can still see some of the ceramic. But if you're doing an acrylic one, you completely bead over it. Okay, so let me put those down. I'm going to show you on my mat. I have got some little samples to show you. However, I have got some samples on my, let me just move my light. So I have got some samples on the busts next to me, and let me just so you can see there, those are some samples. So these ones have been made up into a necklace. So, and I've got tiger tail going through them with beads in between each one. Same with this one, and this one's got a double one on the middle. And then I've used some little pip beads to make a flower. This one's a double one. So it's two carrier beads together. You don't need to glue them together. You just make the loop of beads wider. And then these ones are using single ones, and obviously you can create patterns and flowers and hearts and things like that. So right, let me turn you around and we'll talk some more. Okay, so when we started doing these carrier beads, We actually did a class on them, and we used to have a kit on them as well. We don't have the kits anymore. However, you can buy online, you can buy the carrier beads, which Donna's just said fantastic, they're half price. So you can buy bags of your carrier beads, and then the beads that we use on top of them are the delicas. Now these are gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I'll show you when up close when I'm beading, but I keep mine in these little containers. Hi Dawn. And the colour array that you can get is absolutely spectacular, and we have got a fantastic selection of colours, and I'm presuming that most of them are online, so you'll be able to choose them. Now if you do go online and buy carrier beads and delicas, we will send you, free of charge, we will send you the pattern. So the instructions that we would put in normally in a kit, but we haven't got the kits. So we would send you that to make a necklace. And then we would send you our pattern sheets as well. So these have patterns on both sides. And it's even got a blank section here that you can design your own pattern with. So you can put your colours in that you want to use and design your own pattern. So you have literally got 3, 6, 8 patterns on that, and the instructions for doing the purple one there. Absolutely gorgeous, and obviously step by step with all our written instructions as well. So do take the opportunity to get online, or you can ring the shop and order delica beads and carrier beads together, and you will automatically just remind the girls, if you're online, just put a little note on saying free patterns please. If you're ringing them up, ask them. Oh, hold on, let me see what that says. Have I completed my Sean? I've been too busy to complete my projects from Sunday, I'm afraid. I dread to say. I will try and get them done this week and show you. I was on a Zoom class, but I was learning. It wasn't about the projects that I did. It was about learning how to do Zoom so that I can teach a Zoom class. So, yeah, I'll see if I can get them finished, Sean, but, yeah, it wasn't about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to be working with delicas, so tiny, weeny little beads. So I'm hoping you're going to be able to see them. Okay. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Let me just put my glasses on so I can see. Okay. Is that better? Is that better? Where do I want to be? Hold on. So these are some carrier beads that I made up. Oops, not that one. I made up to start making a necklace. So you kind of, you know, mix and match your colours together. And this is another one that I did. And this could be a necklace or it could be a bracelet, whichever you want. So this one is a double one. Okay. And this has... I've actually glued that one on, so I can't remove it, but it actually has 2, so one there and one there, 2 carrier beads inside there. And when you want to secure them, you just put a little bit of E6000 on your carrier bead, just to stop this swizzling round, especially if, like, where are we? This one. On this grey one, I've done flowers on the front of it, but a blank back. Okay, so you don't want that swizzling round. Okay, so I'm going to move these, and I have got a clear carrier bead. Maybe I should do it on a white one, actually. Let me do it on a white so you can see clearly. And I've got brown thread so that you can see what I'm doing. Now, we need a stopper bead. So use a bead that is totally different size from the beads that you're going to be using, which are the delicas, and a different colour, and then you'll know that it's not meant to stay on there at the very end. And all I do is I pass my needle through it pass it back through again, oops-a-daisy, just to create a loop on it, and then I just do it a third time. And when you're finished, you'll just be able to pull this off slightly. If not, you can just snip it off, but we should be okay. So that's just going to stop our beads from slipping off the end. Okay, and it's something to push up against because these are so small. Okay, so the width of these carrier beads, we use an even count peyote stitch. Okay, so you can change the size of it to whatever you want. So normally you would do a 6, which is the width of the carrier bead, so that's a 6 wide. If you can see that, 6 wide. And if you want to do it bigger, you would do 12 for the double wide one. So I'm going to pick up 6 beads, and then I'm going to hold it up and show you. 5, 6, and this is called even count peyote. Okay, so this is tiny. So you can see my 6 beads there. Then I'm going to pick up another bead. Now, I'm not going to go down through that first bead because that would just make all my beads fall off. So what I'm going to do is pass my needle through the second bead down from the top. Okay, and what this is going to do is, it's going to look really strange at first, but what I want to happen is the 2 beads, where are we? Can you see that? So the 2 beads to sit next to each other. When I pull the thread together, when I pull it down, oops, I tighten it up, it's going to, let me get a piece of white paper. So I'm going to put it on there. So sometimes you have to turn it round yourself because it sometimes it would just automatically sit correct. But what you're doing is having 2 beads sitting side by side at the top of your thread. Okay, so you can see. No, come on. So there's 2 beads there at the top, okay? And then I'm going to pick up another bead. It's so tiny, this. So once you get started with this, it's much easier. I tend to hold on to it by the stopper bead, so that it makes life a little bit easier. So where our thread is coming out from, the second bead down, I've added another bead. I shall miss the next bead in the row, and I shall go through the one after that, so the one underneath that next bead. And then you have, oops-a-daisy, I don't know if you can see that. So you can see that you've got 2 sets of beads sticking out. Oh, that's horrible. I'm not sure if you can see it. Okay. So then you would take your next bead, miss the next bead down, and go through the one after it. Okay. Now, once you've done that first row of 6, each time you go up and down the rows, you only will be adding 3 beads. So you can see it sort of gradually building. So now I have got, I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm just going to lift this up a bit so I can see. I turn that one there. You can see I've got 2 at the top, 2 second, oops, miss 1 and then 2 down, miss 1 and then 2 down. Okay, and then what will happen is you'll have spaces. This is really annoying me because I wanted you to be able to see it. So you'll have innies, what I call innies and outies. So there'll be a bead sticking out and then a hollow bit, a bead sticking out and then a hollow bit. And what you do next, what am I doing? Okay, so what you do next is you add a bead in the gaps. So right at the bottom here, I have got an empty bit. So I'm going to add a bead and then I'm going to pass it through the next bead in that row to fill the gap. Oops, and it's gone right the way around my piece of paper. No, that is not working. Can you see that? Okay. So then I'm going to pick up another bead and pass it through so it adds in where my next gap is. Did I pick up a bead? Oh, stupid woman. Well, I forgot to pick up a bead. So you can always go backwards, take your needle off and pull your thread back. Right, so I did add a bead, but I didn't add it properly. So let's go through that next bead to add it in the gap. Let's hold it up for you so you can see. And then there's another gap. So this is my 3rd bead that I'm adding and a sticky out bead above it, which is my bead to pass through. I turn it sideways, you can see. Okay, so now it's coming out the top and the next bead needs to fill this gap to the right. So, oops-a-daisy, that's not a good idea, is it? Let me hold it down a second. So, pass it in. Now, when you're doing this, if suddenly your beads become all loose and are moving around, then take either the top bead, if you're near the top, take the top bead, pull it out. Okay, so it's sticking out your loop and that will tighten all the rest of them, and then you can just pull it down gently and do the same with the bottom one. If it's loose at the bottom, then pull that sticky out bead out at the bottom, pull it out and then pull tight again and it'll pull everything nice and tight. Okay, so next one to add. And fill my gap. Oops, wrong way. So you keep doing this until you've got the length you require. And the way you do that is by, oops-a-daisy, is by measuring on your, oops-a-daisy. You can just measure it on your carrier bead. So on this one that I've got in brown, I don't know where my needle's gone, but I'll have to use that one. So this one on brown, I've just got it right. So the way these lock together is that they kind of, well, we call it zipping up. So you can see that on the, oops-a-daisy, on the beads, oh, I just want to be able to show you, sorry. So on the ends, you've got beads, so you have one sticking up and then a gap, one sticking up and then a gap, and the opposite will be happening on the opposite side. So all you have to do is pass through the sticking out bead on one side first, then on the other side. So you'll literally be going diagonal between the two to stitch it up. Okay, so let me just take off, I'm going to pull off the stopper bead on that one. Let me just swap my needle over. And always leave a decent thread on that stopper bead side, because then you can tie off your threads together, and also you can stitch it back through. Okay, so I've got the end of my piece, and it's the let's pull that bit out of the way. So starting at the end where my thread is, there's a missing bead. So I've got a sticky out bead on the right hand side. So that's where I go through. Then I've got a sticking out bead on my left side. Oops, go through. So I go through the bead on the left. And then my next bead is on the right hand piece, sticking out. So I'm going to go through that one. Oops, a daisy. And then my next one, again, is on the left. So let's go through that one. And then my next sticky out one is on the right. And then the next one is on the left. Now then, make sure you pull it nice and tight, and you'll see that my threads are both in the same place, so they're actually one's next to the other. So I'm just going to tie my threads together, and the way you tie off is much like we do in most of our seed bead projects, is to just thread back through, you know, random beads. It doesn't have to be, oops, you don't have to go straight in a row. You can go diagonal, just so that your little knot, oops, your little knot gets pulled into some of the beads so that you can't see it. And it shouldn't matter, actually. You don't need to glue it or anything like that. So the only area that you're going to see any thread is this, the bottom and the top. So the sides of the piece. Let me just put my ceramic. No, I did it on I measured it on a clear one, which is, I think, slightly bigger because it fits better on that one. So there you go. And you won't have, no one will know where you finished off. There's no indication of that. No, that's fine. If you're only just seeing the end, I can show you again. So I'll show you on this bigger piece that I've got over here. So when you do the carrier beads for the seed bead, the delicas, sorry, for the carrier beads, you only need to do 6 beads high, okay, and you do it even count, so it's even count peyote. But you can do any size you want, and you don't have to put a carrier bead in. You can make these loops, you can make them into tubes, you can make them into loops, and use them on your necklaces and things like that. So it doesn't have to be just for the, you know, for the carrier beads. And this is a way of doing, you know, cuff bracelets as well. So you can make them larger and make it into a cuff bracelet. So we have end findings for those specifically that we sell in store as well. So the basic premise is that you put on a straight row of beads. So you would put 6 beads on, and then your next bead you add would create 2 beads sticking out. So actually, if I show you on, so if you look at this instruction, so you would end up, this would be the second row that you would do. So you'd have a row of 6 and the first bead you add would be this one, and you pass your needle through that second one. Then you add on another bead, pass your needle through this one, and then you would add another bead, and then pass your needle through this one. This one is actually the stopper bead, so that doesn't, you don't go through that, you don't use that bead. But that would be how you do it, and this is how you build it up. So your instructions will help you as well, so don't worry. Where can you get the small beads from? They are Delicas, and they are on our website, apparently. So, yeah, Delicas, they're called, number 11 Delicas. There you go, there's a link under there. Linda, yep, there's a link. So it's much, much clearer. Obviously, it's really difficult for me to show you how, so this is where we zipped it up. That's what I just showed you, but obviously a lot clearer. And building it up, you take it very slowly. The width of these carrier beads, we only do 6 beads wide, and each row that you do, you just add 3 beads each time, so it builds up quite slowly. And then if you want to get more advanced with them, as I said, if you tell the girls that you're ordering your... Hi Helen, don't worry if you've missed it, you can always watch this back, because we put it back onto the Facebook so that you can re-watch it afterwards as well. So everybody that orders Delicas and carrier beads, just put a comment online on your order and say free instructions please, or free patterns please. If you order on the phone, just let the girls know that you want your free instructions and patterns. So these are some of the patterns that you get, and it shows you. So this would be your first bead. Okay, so that's your first bead, second bead, third bead, fourth bead, fifth bead, sixth bead, and then you would be adding, whoops, your second row. So your second row would be 1, 2, 3. So you would be doing, that's where you'd start. Those are your first 6 beads, and then you would be adding this one, the white one there, sorry, and then that purple one. So you can do, what I tended to find when I was first doing these was I did a row and numbered my beads. So I would put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I would put 7, 8, 9, and then 10, 11, 12. So you'd go through and you'd number your beads up. Yeah, in the instructions you probably need about 3 different colours, and it will get you started with it. Where are we? So yeah, I'm really sorry that I couldn't get this any clearer for you. It's so frustrating. I really want to have, I don't know whether I should have done non-metallic, or you can't really see the ends of this, can you? So frustrating. Okay, let me switch you over so you can see the samples. Okay. So you can see these lovely samples there. Oops, this one's fallen down. So these little flower ones are one of the patterns. This one actually is one of my patterns, but if anybody specifically wants that one, I'll give the yeah, the problem larger beads is that these are specific beads that are a barrel shape, and they sit together with precision, and we don't have any other barrel beads that sit like this that you could demonstrate it with that are bigger. So what I really need is almost like, you know, these like cameras that are on like a pen or something that you can do close-up work with. So I'm going to have a look because this is so frustrating not to be able to show you up close. It's really, I really want to be able to show you, so. Yeah, as Donna says, yeah, but there aren't any that I can think of that sit the same, and it wouldn't be correct for the project to show you a different way it sits than the way it sits with the Delicas. So yeah, what I really need to look for is a camera that I can attach to my iPad that does absolutely up close pictures that I can still see on my iPad screen, or update my laptop. Right, okay, enough whinging from me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm really sorry that it was a bit of a fail on my part not being able to show you up close, and excuse my dog growling, shush, but you got to see, you know, the finished pieces. You got to see the instructions that you will get if you order your Delicas and your carrier beads together. Definitely, it's one worth trying, and you know, these can be added into your necklaces and your bracelets. It doesn't have to be a full Delica piece. It can just be like one double one at the bottom, and then, you know, normal beads with the rest of it, or the same with the bracelet. It can be done, you know, just one in the middle and you know, different beads around it. Absolutely beautiful though, and they are so stunning. Yeah, perfect for elastic bracelets and things like that. So do have a go with them. It's really satisfying to complete one of those loops and zip it up. And I'm in the process of making a necklace of just the loops. So before I actually zip it up, I'll attach it to the next loop and continue on like that until I've got lots and lots of different multicolored necklace, like with loops all around it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Apologies for not being able to get it close enough for you so you can actually see, you know, the detail of the beads. But yeah, bear with me. I actually thought for my next project, Donna may disagree with me, but I really wanted to do a little small tree of life with wire and stone chips, because we have got these little mixed boxes of stone chips that we use in resin. They have got holes in them, so they are beautiful, and you can string them. So, and also you can buy strands of them as well at the shop. So I thought I will do a little wire tree of life using the rings. So I think you got the rings in the bead box, the little silver rings. So using that ring, you don't have to use it for the projects that you got in your bead box. Obviously you can use it for anything you want, and I thought we'd do a tree of life with it. So I'm going to make one up within the next couple of days, and I shall post a picture of it, and Donna will get a photograph of it to put for the event. Okay, all right guys, I don't know what Donna's doing for the next one. I'm not quite sure what she's doing, hopefully not Tree of Life. But thank you all for joining me, and apologies for not being able to get this as good as I wanted to, but I will work on this and see what I can do to improve it. Okay, bye everybody.